A few weeks ago, the entire golf world and the sporting world more generally rejoiced at the news that Scottie Scheffler's criminal case, which included a felony, had been dismissed by the Louisville DA. Of course, anyone who's following this case at all would have known that this was just a terrible case to begin with, should never have been charged, and even after it was charged, it should have been dismissed immediately. But hey, better late than never, so long as justice gets delivered in the end. Granted, I was bittersweet as the premier Scottie Scheffler YouTuber. I was covering this case head to toe, nuts to butts. So I was ready to see this thing through to the end, to make any and every video I could documenting how terrible of a case this was, and unfortunately, my video count was capped at 2 because the case got dismissed. But because of the deliverance of justice, the people were celebrating. The drinks were flowing, the people were dancing, the music was bumping. It was a great time to be alive when we heard this news. But as the case went away and his life went on back to normal, we started to forget and move on. Nature was healing. So imagine my shock when just recently I booted up YouTube and I saw an hour-and-a-half body cam video of the arrest of Scottie Scheffler had been released by the Louisville Police Department and uploaded to YouTube. And after watching it, I just knew I had to talk about it one last time because they had this body cam from the very beginning, and I just think it's so clear, even from the beginning, from the day of, that this was just such a bad case. And now watching this body cam, it just proved what we knew all along, which was that this was a terrible case. So what I did was took the hour-and-a-half body cam, cut it down into the most relevant clips that I could see from it, and I want to go through those and react to them and kind of document the process for people who may not be as familiar with the criminal law and see what we can learn. But before I do that, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Scottie O, aka the Gen Z attorney, and I'm a real-life prosecutor. I currently work as an assistant district attorney in the great state of North Carolina, and I'm in court every day prosecuting bad guys and putting them in jail. So of course what I do on this channel is talk about the high-profile criminal cases around the country. So I take these cases and I try and give you my perspective as a prosecutor and how I would approach this case were it one of my own cases, and hopefully pull the curtain back a little bit and let you see into the mind of someone who prosecutes instead of defends. So if you like that kind of content, be sure to watch through to the end and see what you can learn here. And if you feel like it, drop a like down below and subscribe to come back for more. So without further ado, let's get right into this body cam.
So I'm terribly sorry.
Okay, keep your hand back there.
I'm just trying to get to my tea time.
I got DNA.
Shaking. Guys, I'll keep my arms back there, I promise. Man, I'm about to get arrested. I'm trying to get to a tea time.
So here we got from the very beginning, this is the initial arrest. They've already pulled him out of the car and are now placing him in handcuffs. And you can just see how frazzled he is. I mean, he's just been chased down, pulled out of a car, and is now being detained, being handcuffed, with the hands behind his back when he's already late. He's already feeling stressed that he's not going to make his tea time on time. So you hear him saying that. He says that in the video, like, I'm just trying to get to my tea time. So he's shaking, he's frazzled. It's already a bad situation from the get-go.
Let's walk him over to your car.
He did tell me to stop, but as I went by him, he grabbed my arm and I was afraid I couldn't tell he was a police officer.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Can you please help me?
Just keep going that way. Keep going that way.
Okay, I guess that's the first account of kind of what happened according to Scottie. Is he was trying to get in, someone was yelling at him to stop, he couldn't tell it was a police officer, and then when that person reached through his open window and was grabbing onto him and hitting him, he freaked out. He thought this was just a random guy, and he just wasn't sure what the heck was happening. And like, yeah, he's still frazzled, he's still very confused, it's chaotic. Yeah, we'll see throughout the rest of this, his story stays remarkably consistent about how he was confused, it's chaotic, and he didn't understand that it was an officer in the way. And I do like the officer with the body cam. He's kind of, oh, okay. Because yeah, as an officer, you deal with so many crazy people, and in court, I see these crazy people after, right, they get arrested, they get brought into court, and they're spinning up the same types of stories that they're telling officers. And I promise you, I've heard every story in the book, every excuse as to why the person did what they did, or didn't do what they were supposed to do, or couldn't make it to court, or couldn't go to their classes or probation supervision, whatever it may be. There's always, yeah, I've heard every excuse in the book. So when you hear so many of them, you kind of get to a point where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. So that's, yeah, this officer's just like, okay, yeah, come on.
You have a wallet on you? All my stuff's in there. My player bag, my wallet, my phone.
Have a seat. Have you been drinking anything? You got mouthwash.
Mouthwash.
That's it?
Yeah, I woke up about a half hour ago.
Okay, put your feet in for me.
Alright, so they got him into the car, and it seems like an odd question, like, hey, you been drinking anything? Because, right, this is 6 a.m. He's going into play in a nationally televised tournament, one of the biggest golf tournaments of the year. And he smells the mouthwash and decides to ask him, hey, you been drinking? I mean, I can see why he might ask that, especially when you've got some alleged bad driving or inability to follow commands. Someone could definitely be impaired, as that being the reason why they were unable to really listen well or follow commands, or while they were driving bad. And one of the things people will do to try and cover up the alcohol in their breath is to get some mouthwash, or more common, to chew some gum. So yeah, just a bit of a funny question to ask in this circumstance, but I could also understand why the officer asked it.
All right. Put your. We'll talk in a second. Put your knee in. Are you okay?
Ouch.
You think you're all right?
Yeah.
You want EMS just check out your leg? You think?
No. He goes, I'm going to go.
Yeah. I heard the last part of it.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh, just straight knee. What happened?
What happened?
He's got
He
a.
goes around everybody. He gets. And I grabbed a hold of his car. I'm like, you can't go. He goes, I'm going to go. And I'm like, I'm just telling you to stop. And he just floored.
I'm not cutting out, it's just the audio is muted on the video.
On the far left lane.
Against traffic.
Against traffic. They already have cars lined up in the already. And he went around all of them. And he doesn't get the name. I don't have his name yet. He's a player.
I'll get his name. I got you.
Alright, so that's the detective that was dragged and chased after him. That's Detective Gillis. I guess now we hear his side of the story of he told him to stop, and Scottie started yelling, I want to go, and just basically gunned it through while he was holding on to the car, and it dragged him. Yeah, that's a bit of an exaggeration, it seems. Even after they get him in the car, it's the doubled over, like, whew, he's just, wow, he's in shock. He just can't believe he saw his life flashing before his eyes, like, oh my gosh. And he's just lucky to be alive, you know. Yeah, seems just a little over dramatic, but yeah, I guess kind of is what it is. And yeah, I haven't cut out any audio off this body cam. It's just, I don't know why this was being cut out. I'm assuming it's because there's sensitive information that's being talked about. I don't know what could have been talked about here that needs to be cut out. I mean, we get some stuff later, like, hey Scottie, what's your social security number? Yeah, that gets cut out because of course it will. Not sure why it got cut out here, but we're still getting the big picture. We're still getting the idea. The story according to Gillis, and you can see, yeah, he's fired up, he's heated. I can see why, in this state of mind, why he decided to go charge this as a felony, even when in hindsight, or even from the outside looking in this situation here, it's like, is that really justified? But oh well.
Watch your knee. I'll be right back.
Are you guys aware that I am playing in the golf tournament?
Okay. I'll talk to you a second. Put your knee in.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that just goes back to what I was saying earlier about these officers. They hear every excuse in the book. Yeah, just okay. Yeah. Oh, you're playing in the tournament? Oh, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, just put your knee in. You know, we'll be right back with you. Yeah, it's just it's dismissive, but it's also just funny that it's just kind of like, because we know now this is the #1 golfer in the world, and also one of the nicest guys on the entire tour. Like, we know that now, but in the moment, this officer, he doesn't know any of that. He doesn't know who this is. Yeah, maybe he knows he's a golfer, he's a player in the tournament, but he's like, okay, yeah, okay, whatever you say, I'll be right back. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All right. I gotta read you something, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney for making a statement or answering any questions. If you cannot afford an attorney or desire one, the court will appoint one for you. You may stop questioning at any time by refusing or wanting to consult with your attorney. Do you understand each of those rights that I've read to you?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, with those rights in mind, do you want to talk to me about what happened?
Please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so of course, we all know what these are. Classic Miranda rights. A little funny that he pulled it up on his phone to read word for word, but I guess that it's one of those things you want to make sure you get it right, although there is Supreme Court precedent, a Supreme Court case that talked about, does Miranda need to be read verbatim, or is it just kind of something you just need to communicate the intent? Because obviously we all know from the movies, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you. That's the typical word for word, verbatim of it. I remember this Supreme Court case, basically, they were saying, like, you don't have to talk to me. Anything you say, we could use against you in court. You have the right to have an attorney, and if you can't afford one, we'll give you one. It was something like that. It was very similar. It communicated the point, but it wasn't word for word. Yeah, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they ruled that so long as you communicate the intent, the person can clearly understand the meaning of what's being communicated, then it's still valid. But I mean, we won't knock the officer for being thorough, making sure he gets it right, getting it word for word according to their local saying of Miranda. But the other part about Miranda too, this is also smart on the officer to just get this out of the way, because you've got him in handcuffs, you've got him in the back of the car. At this point, right, maybe you haven't said you're under arrest, but effectively, yeah, he's under arrest. He's been detained, he's not free to leave, and he's about to ask him some questions that may elicit some incriminating answers, which is the standard for Miranda. It has to be a custodial interrogation. That's the two-pronged test for whether Miranda applies. So, in custody, being interrogated. Interrogation sounds like a strong word, but it's really, just any situation where you're attempting to elicit a response from the defendant that may incriminate them, may go towards their guilt. So, officer is really just making sure he dots his I's and crosses his T's, does what he's supposed to, because Scottie this whole time has been saying, can I just please talk to somebody? Can I talk to y'all? Can I talk about what happened? And he keeps saying, okay, we'll get there. Which seems to me to be we can talk about it, but let's get control of the situation. Let me Mirandize you first, and then let's talk about it. So,
my house is right up that road, and so I was planning on getting here at 5:50 this morning to start my warm-up for my tee time.
Yeah.
I had to loop all the way around that way. It took me about probably a half hour.
Okay.
So I pulled in here. The police officer up there told me to come the opposite way with the traffic and then come in. And as I was pulling in, my window was down, and the officer told me to stop. And first of all, I did not know that he was a police officer. I thought he was one of the security guards that was mistaken. And as I was pulling by him, he grabbed my arm.
Stop right there. Why does it matter if he's a security guard or a police officer?
Because
if somebody's telling you to stop.
Yes, you're right. I should have stopped. I did get a little bit impatient because I'm quite late for my tee time. And as he was reaching in the car, he grabbed my shoulder and hit me. Like
trying to get you to stop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It seemed to be a little bit over aggressive because the entrance was open.
Okay.
And I pulled a little bit because I was afraid. I thought he was going to start hitting me, and I didn't know who he was. He didn't tell me he was a police officer. All I saw was the yellow jacket. I didn't know what he was doing. I listened to the other police officer.
All right, so there's Scottie's kind of full story, start to finish, of what he says happened. Where he's just trying to get in. He's already waited a long time. He was waved through by one officer, and as he was going through, he was going against traffic, but everything was at a standstill. It wasn't like he drove into oncoming traffic, but he drove in the opposite lane to get through, as he says he was directed to do. And as he's coming around, then you get to Gillis, who is the other officer, who says, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop!" And Scottie's unable to identify him as an officer. Yeah, he's wearing the yellow jacket, but unless it says police big and bold on the front of it, it probably says it on the back, but he's not looking at his back, he's looking at his front because Gillis is facing him. So he's not able to tell just from the jacket that this is a cop. Gillis never identifies himself as police. "Hey, police, stop." He just kind of immediately engages, immediately says, "Hey, you have to stop." Starts hitting his car with the flashlight, reaching through the window and grabbing him. It's a very quick sequence of events that, it goes to show how quickly these things can happen, though, and get out of hand. So, but it's just really, we're already seeing it. This is the story from Scottie's perspective. It was confusing, it was chaotic, it's dark. He felt like he was told to go through. Gillis disagrees, tries to stop him. He's not able to tell Gillis is a cop. He thinks he's someone who's basically trying to attack him almost, and he's trying to get away from him. And it's just, right, and it stresses him out, freaks him out, panics, and we end up where we are, so.
So you took him with your car
Yes.
and drug him, okay?
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing,
I'm
right?
very aware that was
To
not a
make
good
it,
thing.
so listen to me, so make it even worse, when he asked you to get out of the car, you refused to get out of the car.
I still was not aware he was a police officer. I was actually looking out the window of the car to try to find a police officer. I asked.
We're all right here, and
I
he
know,
was there.
believe me, sir. If I knew
We're all wearing yellow vests so you can see us.
If he knew he was a police officer, I would have been much more less afraid. But panic kind of set in. As you can see, I'm still shaking because I was afraid. I didn't know who he was. He didn't say police, get out of the car. He just hit me with his flashlight and yelled, get out of the car.
So yeah, more of the confirmation of just the confusion, the panic. He says he's still shaking in that moment. It's just, yeah, it's a bad situation to be in. And right, it was again the lack of ID, the not knowing it was a cop. Yeah, it was just right, bad situation overall. It kind of is what it is. And in fact, he was looking for police because he thought this guy was not a part of the police, and he's trying to tell him, look, go get a cop, go get an officer. But little does he know this guy is a cop. And yeah, it's a very, I think, credible story. I think, because like I've said already several times, people will come up with anything to try and explain their situation in a way that makes them look the least bad. Scottie's already basically admitted, like, I'm so sorry. Like, this was a huge mistake. If I could do it all over again, I'd do it totally differently. I realize how bad it was to drag him. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is terrible. So already, he's very conciliatory. He's very apologetic for the situation generally. But on top of that, he's giving an account of the story that's very believable, very reasonable considering the circumstances. So it's already building up into all right, this is a big misunderstanding. Let's just kind of chalk it up as a wash and go home. But as we know, that's not how this story ends up. So let's keep going.
And if somebody tells you to stop, if it's a traffic guard, security guard, anybody, that means you stop at that time and you don't keep going.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so stuff like this doesn't happen.
Yes.
Because you actually hurt him, and he's a police officer.
Yes. Is he okay?
He's got a huge scrape on his knee. He's getting checked by EMS, big bruise. So I don't know.
So he's asking, he's asking, is he okay? Like, in what world? Right. I deal with assault on government official in my job. It's an A1 misdemeanor, so it's the highest level misdemeanor that I deal with. And granted, so it's not a felony. There are levels to it where assault on a government official could be a felony if it was causing serious injury. But mostly, right, if it's something like this would be an A1 misdemeanor in my court. But when people are assaulting government officials, yeah, they might be apologetic in court when they're about to go to jail for it, but on the spot, no, they're not apologetic. That's the whole reason they're assaulting the cop, is because they're mad. They're being belligerent. They're out of control. Police are trying to control them, trying to place them under arrest, and they're kicking, screaming, punching, biting, spitting, whatever it may be. Like, they're not apologizing, asking, oh, is the officer okay, after they just, in this case, feloniously assaulted him. So, once again, the case is building, the credibility is building. This is a bad case already.
But for you right now, the main question is if you're going to jail, and it's up to him.
Okay.
I don't know.
Am I able to speak with him?
No, not at this time. No.
All right, more attempts to try and resolve the situation there. Like, hey, can I speak to him? I just want to say, he doesn't say it here, but to me, wanting to speak to him after asking if he's okay is to check on him to see if he's okay and to say he's sorry and kind of probably explain his side. Like, look, man, I didn't know you were a cop. I thought you were just some random guy. Like, I'm so sorry that I dragged you. I wish I could take it back. But so it's just, this is very non-standard behavior for a criminal defendant, especially for a defendant that supposedly just committed a felony.
I'm gonna go to jail.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I could tell you that. I could tell you that you're in a bad situation right now.
Is that him walking around right now?
I can't see him.
Yeah.
All the lights.
So sorry.
Like, more apologies, more conciliation. And not only that, like, he's asking... I can imagine the stress that he's going through. Like, look, it's bad enough to be handcuffed and put in the back of a cop car. It's even worse when you're late for your tee time to a huge golf tournament when you're number 1 in the world. And, right, you not showing up, that could throw the entire tournament out of whack. And that's all he was trying to do in the first place, was trying to get through to get into play. And now he's sitting there in the back of a cop car, and he's never been in trouble before. He's never been arrested, so he doesn't really know how this process works. And so it's the uncertainty that I can imagine is just driving him crazy. Like, if he knew, okay, look, I'm under arrest, they're going to take me to the jail, I'm going to post my bond. Look, I'm under arrest, they're going to take me to the jail, they're going to post my... Look, I'm under arrest, they're going to take me to the jail, I'm going to get there, get booked, I'm going to post my bond, and make it back in time to tee off. Look, it's... The certainty of that would be very reassuring, I would imagine. But the uncertainty, like, he has no idea. Is he going to go to jail? Is he going to get released? Is he going to be making time for tee time? What's the charge going to be? Is it going to be a misdemeanor? Going to be a felony? Like, this is just so uncertain, so chaotic of a situation that I can imagine. Especially, golf is such a mental sport. Your mental toughness is arguably the most important aspect of the entire game as a golfer. And to start your day off like this, I can't even imagine how much this must have thrown off his mental.
So what was the traffic accident this morning?
Fatal pedestrian. They got struck, which is why the road's blocked. Yeah.
By bus?
Yes.
I cannot emphasize enough that I should have stopped, but I was not aware he was a police officer. And when he started grabbing me, that's when I got really afraid. And so I pulled forward, but I had no intent to try to hurt him or anything. I thought he would let go of my arm.
So there we have him asking about the accident, which I think once again shows this level of empathy and concern for the people around him that is just so non-standard for criminal defendants, for felony criminal defendants no less. So he's asking about the accident, learns it was a fatal accident. It's like, wow, gosh, that's terrible. Like, I'm so sorry. And then goes into apologizing again, explaining like, look, I can't explain how sorry I am. I can't emphasize enough how much of a mistake I made, and I'm so sorry. And it's just, just very, very sorry for all of it.
Are you able to do me a favor and text my caddy that I just got arrested?
Well, you're not arrested,
okay.
So I can't tell him that.
Okay. So funny at first, like, yeah, it would be great to text the caddy, let the caddy know you're not gonna be there for tee time, most likely. So yeah, the caddy needs to know that, so they're not freaking out, sitting around waiting like, Scotty, where you at? So yeah, it'd be great to text him to tell him he's under arrest, that Scotty's under arrest. But I don't know why the cop why he felt the need to say, well, no, you're not under arrest. That seems a little silly. I mean, you've got him handcuffed, you've got him in the back of your car, you've Mirandized him. Like, these are all, and he's not free to leave. Like, these are all things that happen to people who are under arrest. Like, it reminds me of the SpongeBob episode where they're trying to teach Man Ray how to be a good guy, and they're trying to have him return Patrick's wallet to him that he's dropped, and Patrick says, it's not my wallet. So they're going through and explaining every step of how it is his wallet, and Patrick's agreeing every step of the way. It's like, okay, cool. Get to the end, so take it. That's not my wallet. It's like, okay, we're going through explaining every step of, okay, well, are you handcuffed? Yeah. Are you in the back of the car? Yeah. Have you been Mirandized? Yeah. Are you free to leave? No. Okay, so you're under arrest. But he's not under arrest. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. Or maybe I just was looking for any excuse to put a SpongeBob reference into a video. Either way, I'll let you all decide.
I got his info for you too, by the way.
Sorry,
I got all of his info. But yeah, if you want to grab that, that'd be great.
Sorry, sir.
We're in the gym bag.
There's a mesh pocket inside. Are you the one that I dragged? I'm sorry. Sir, I did not know you were a police officer. I'm terribly sorry.
It says police on you.
I know. My bad.
All right, turn that way for me.
Okay, so here we have Gillis, who's walked up asking him about his wallet, I think, in his gym bag. And he's like, okay, yeah, it's in the bag, trying to tell him where it is. But also trying to apologize to him directly, like, tell the story he's been telling the whole time. So really trying to do his best to make amends and hopefully just get the situation resolved on the spot without going any further than is necessary. But unfortunately, Detective Gillis was not buying it.
Can you call Ted?
Sir, what did I tell you last time? You're doing it again. Stay away from the car. Obstructing government operations. Stay away from the car.
But maybe it's best to just leave. I said it might be best to just leave. Just wait. Yeah, don't do anything.
Okay, so that's the reporter from ESPN who was out there and kind of broke the story originally. And as they're walking Scottie over to the car, he's kind of walking behind them. They're telling him like, "Hey, stay back, stay back." And it's just, I kind of love this cop that has his body cam on. Just the way he's talking, and the way he talks to people and explains stuff. It's got an endearing quality to it where the reporter's coming back over. He's really just trying to help. He's trying to help Scottie. He knows who Scottie is. He knows he's the #1 golfer in the world, and knows that some people are going to need to be notified of the situation. So he's really just trying to help, and he's like, "Hey, Scottie, anybody you want me to call?" And the officer turns around and is like, "Hey, what? No, what did I tell you before?" It's like, yeah, as a cop trying to control a crime scene, it can definitely be like herding cats. And you tell people to do stuff and they're not doing it, and then they will do it, but then they'll stop doing what they're supposed to do and they'll start trying to interfere again. It's like, so yeah, good on Scottie for just just stay out, because the last thing we're gonna want is for him to get arrested as well and be put in the same exact situation because he was trying to help.
How long have you been a police officer?
Going on 6 years now. Yeah, did the jail before this for 2 years.
You worked in the jail?
Yes, it was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible.
So just another clip, another example of just what I keep calling non-standard criminal behavior. Like, you've arrested this guy, he's facing a felony, and he's asking you, "Oh, so how long have you been a cop?" Like, he's like trying to get to know this cop and just understand, like, maybe if you want to give him the most bad faith interpretation possible, you'd say he's trying to schmooze him to get off easy. But I don't know, everything we know about Scottie and who he is as a person seems like this genuine, just like, yeah, trying to make conversation and get to know this guy. And like, look, we're sitting here, I'm sitting, you're standing, we're just sitting in awkward silence, like, okay, so like, how long have you been a cop? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? What did you do before? Yeah, so just so weird that he gets charged with a felony out of this for being, like, every moment of this video you're just seeing, this looks like this is just not a criminal. It's not a criminal right here.
So how does this work? What's going on?
There's a lot of command out here, so I would assume that they're trying to figure out what to do.
So more confusion, more just like, I got a tee time, I got to play today. It's round 2 out of 4. I'm trying to make this cut. And so yeah, just trying to figure out what the heck is happening. What can he expect to happen? And at this point, they're still trying to figure out if they're going to charge him, what they're going to charge him with. So this officer with the body cam, his job is basically just to sit and babysit, make sure he doesn't do anything crazy. And if he says anything incriminating, to kind of make a mental note of it to be used potentially in a trial.
Well, I did not know that he was a police officer, and that's why I was so scared. And he was hitting my car with his flashlight thing.
Yeah, just trying to get your attention, get you to stop. Yeah.
But he didn't say police.
He might have, but you probably had your window up at that time.
No, I rolled it down to talk to the whoever was up there, the police officer, whoever up there, and he said just go down the left side against the traffic and they'll let you in.
Yeah, once just same story again, just reiterating again, like, didn't know he was a cop. Like I said, very credible. I think a very credible story from just everything we know.
I'll be honest, I didn't think this was ever a position I'd be in.
No, usually people never do.
And that can be true. I think it is true that most people, well, no, let me amend that. Let me change that. That is definitely true. Most people truly do not think they'll be in the criminal situation until they're already in it. That's why a lot of people commit crime, because they either don't see anything wrong with it or don't think they'll ever get caught. But for the most part, they always do. And then they get in court and then they're like, what happened? What am I doing here? But in this situation, this is just especially funny Just knowing everything we know now about who this is, who he is as a person, and yeah, to be like, wow, I really never thought I'd be in this situation, especially on game day, like, but trying to get into the tournament to go play. It's, yeah, I'm glad it's over now. I'm glad the case was kicked so we can look back on it and we can all laugh at it, like, collectively, because, I mean, I'd be laughing at this case regardless, even if it wasn't kicked. I would just be laughing at the people prosecuting this case for being so stupid, basically. But I'm glad that they saw the light, they did justice, kicked the case, and now we can all look back and laugh together over a drink, over a meal. Oh, remember that time you got arrested and charged with a felony? Oh yeah, that was crazy. Oh yeah.
You've had, just to clarify, nothing to drink today, right? Nothing to drink this morning at all? Just mouthwash, okay. So if he gave you a PBT test, which is like a breath
order right now. Try not to drink too much before you go play golf at 8 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's I wouldn't. So I assume you're pretty good if you're playing the PGA.
Oh yeah, he's just all right. Just not like he's best in the world or anything, but yeah. I mean, once again, he's smelling the mouthwash. He just figures he'd ask about it, like, hey, just make sure you didn't have anything to drink. And great answer, like, yeah, dude, try not to go drink before I go play golf at 8 a.m. I mean, a lot of people do. A lot of people do go drink out on the course. That's a great day on the range, on the course. Get out there in the golf cart, got your cooler, got your cool beers, got a cigar. Just be sitting out there. Yeah, I go hit every once in a while, but for the most part, you're just chilling, relaxing, sipping on a brewski. But that's for us lowly casuals. These are the best of the best. So of course they're not going to be drinking before they go play.
Hey Sarge, is that something you want to do now?
Do what?
Is that something you want to go ahead and do now?
What, take?
Yeah.
I gotta do the paperwork,
Yeah.
and then I'll print it to the jail.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep. Yes, he just made that decision.
Yeah, well, that's one thing about arresting somebody. It's a lot of paperwork. Kind of cool that he can, I guess, type it up in his car and send it, like print it to the jail, because they're not close to the jail here. But yeah, and even then they're trying to communicate in ways where it's like they don't really want him to know exactly, so they don't really say fully like, okay, you want me to take him to jail now? It's kind of like, you want to do it now? It's like, do what? It's like, oh, take him. And I mean, Scottie picked up on it immediately. Scottie picked up on it immediately. He was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to jail? It's like, yep, they made that decision for you, so all right, let's get on the road.
Am I getting arrested for assaulting a police officer?
I have a feeling, but I don't know. I do have a feeling. That would be the appropriate charge for this incident.
Well, aside from that cop using his phone while driving, I said I liked him earlier. I'm gonna have to take him down a notch for that criminal behavior right there. Ugh, unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, I want Scottie just trying to get some clarity and be like, look, what am I even being charged with? Is it assault on a police officer? And this officer with him is like, yeah, probably seems like that's what would be appropriate here.
So you guys all wear the chest cameras?
Yeah. Some of us have them like on our shoulders. So everybody out in the field?
Lay out like when they're working?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Gotta have a camera.
Now, I see two reasons for asking this question. One being kind of like earlier, he was just asking this officer, oh, so how long you been a cop? Like just trying to understand, get to know the process. Like, hey, now you're in it, so might as well ask and be like, so what's it like? And oh, the chest cams, body cams, everyone's got them. Since it is still a relatively new thing that's been required in the last 10 years or so to at least become mandated widespread. So that could be the first reason, just like, oh, hey, is this how this works? Second reason, though, and I think both are probably true in this case. He wants to know if Detective Gillis had his body cam on, and because yeah, if he had his body cam, it would be, at least from what we know now about the case, Granted, we'll never know truly what exactly happened because Gillis did not have his body cam turned on, and he's been disciplined for that by the department. Even though we'll never know, I'm sure Scottie's sitting here like, man, if we just watch the video, just watch the body cam together, you'll see. Like, I was just freaked out, and he just kind of ran after me immediately and started grabbing me and hitting me and stuff. So, yeah, I think there might be a double reason why he's asking about Louisville's body cam policies.
I have a seat right there on that black part.
Okay, so at the jail.
Yeah, I would. Hopefully your manager, somebody's to wake your attorney up. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like
He's got the Secret Service guy with him.
Okay.
Somebody that.
Alright. So your charges that that you've been charged with: assault, 2nd degree, police officer, criminal mischief, 3rd degree, reckless driving, and disregarding signals from officers directing traffic.
What is 2nd degree assault?
Felony. And then criminal mischief, 3rd is a misdemeanor. Reckless drive is a violation, and so is disregarding signals from officers a violation.
What does a felony mean?
So you got violations, which are just like
Like a traffic?
yeah. Then you have misdemeanors, and then you have felonies, which is the highest level that it can be in a crime, basically. So I would say it's a very serious charge that.
Sounds serious.
Yes.
That's why I say somebody better go wake your attorney up because, hey man, you just picked up a felony. And like I said, I'm glad we can look on it and laugh now because generally, right, felonies are no laughing matter. Felonies are very serious crimes, most serious crimes in our jurisdictions. And yeah, they usually carry, and yeah, usually they are considered such serious crimes because of the impact they have on other people and the impact they have on society. Like, these are things we really just don't want people to do. In this case, we don't want people going out and beating up cops. Like, I would hope we can all agree that's something we don't want in a civilized society. But even just hearing the charges back again now, yeah. Felony assault on a police officer, reckless driving, criminal mischief. Like, yes, oh yes, I watched this video and I see Scottie Scheffler, such a mischievous little fellow. No, it's so silly. This is such a silly case, and I'm so glad it got dismissed. And even then, even watching this whole body cam back, and I would encourage any of y'all, if you're interested, go watch the full hour and a half. It's a good learning experience. I'm putting in everything I think is most relevant. Like, some of the stuff gets redundant. Like, we can only hear him say so many times that, look, I didn't know he was a cop, and I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's important that he's saying that. It's important that he says that a lot. But I think we get the idea after about the 7th or 8th time watching it. But definitely, yeah, I'd recommend go watch the video if you're interested.
Just got open up my phone to see if my wife woke up.
I didn't know you were the #1 in the world right now.
The realization has dawned, and if it were possible to facepalm through his face, he would be doing it right now.
That's why all the news was there.
That's why we're
It's the #1 player in the world.
For golf?
He literally hit him with the. It's the #1 player in the world right now. Who is? This guy's sitting right here. Now I feel so bad for this cop now. He's like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Like, he's coming to realize how bad of a situation that they just got themselves into.
You're too casual to be the #1 player in the world.
I think that's why they're so surprised I'm sitting here in jail and got arrested.
Yeah, right? You should have had a driver. You should have been one with the police escort we were talking about.
Instead, I'm going with the felony.
For now.
For now. That's right.
I'm sure you'll be alright.
I appreciate y'all chatting with me. I was sitting here, I could not stop shaking. That's why I asked you to come out of the car, because I needed to calm down.
What's your last name?
Scheffler.
Oh, yeah. I saw you on the news this morning.
Yeah, this cop. That's why I like this cop. I'd be friends with this cop. he saw the writing on the wall when I think just his interaction with him this entire time. I mean, hour and a half they spent together. And yeah, it was very casual. We heard him earlier say, "So you must be pretty good, right? Have you playing in the PGA Tour?" And Scottie's like, "Yeah, I'm all right." Like, you're number one in the world, man. And yeah, now that he's learned that, and yeah, and so I think this cop is basically he knows what's about to happen. He's told him, "Look, for now, you got a felony. For now, you're gonna be all right." Yeah, I like cops like that. They can kind of understand the entire situation and not just focus in laser-like on conviction. The same thing as a prosecutor. Like I've said before on this channel, my oath as a prosecutor is not to seek convictions, it's to seek justice. And I think cops should share in that vision that, yes, they gotta arrest people and charge them with crimes, but they gotta do so when it's appropriate, and know when it's appropriate to let someone off with a warning, and when that may be the most just outcome. So yeah, I think this cop's he's got a good head on his shoulders. I've enjoyed watching this video of his.
Can we, I don't know what you can do, but can you bring one of your lieutenants out here so I can talk to him? Is that possible? I mean, a lieutenant's here, I'd assume.
Let me see what I can do.
I can hand you the phone. You can talk to him.
What do you think I want to talk to him about? Okay, yeah.
We just arrested the best golfer in the world.
This is a delicate situation. Or you just let them know what's going on. How about that?
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna
take this real fast.
I would take a news article. I would turn on the news as well. How about it? Just do that. Just turn on the news, or flip to any channel, and then turn on the news.
Yeah, he knows what's going on now. He wants to talk to the man in charge at the jail and be like, "Hey, we just arrested the best golfer in the world on a pretty weak charge, and the news is talking about it and getting the news cycle spinning up about it. Just wanted to let you know. So hey, just turn on any channel and you'll see what I'm talking about." Yeah, I like this cop. He seems like a cool guy. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of the body cam. Like I said, it was a full hour and a half. I cut it down as small as I could while still getting in the meat of what's most important in this body cam. But yeah, I'm glad it's over now. I think good on Louisville PD for releasing this video. I wish they would have released it before the conviction got dropped, or I wish they would have released it before the charges got dropped. So, because they said in the press conference that I talked about in one of my last videos that, you know, they're very committed to transparency. In fact, they're so committed to transparency that out of the dozens of videos they have from that morning, they're going to release not one, but 2 whole videos showing like 2 minutes of the arrest. So, yeah, I'm always a fan of transparency. I think the people need to see what's happening, need to see for themselves so we can actually see the facts, and that way we can talk about the facts, because so many disagreements nowadays in law, politics, whatever, comes down to people disagreeing on facts or not knowing all the facts. And now, of course, you're going to have a disagreement when you're both operating from an incomplete set of facts. But things like body cams are great because they give us the full set of facts that we can then talk about and maybe disagree on our interpretation of the facts, but at least we can have a common ground to stand on what happened. So, glad they put it out. Glad I was able to make one final video, one final goodbye to the Scottie Scheffler case. You know, my reign as the premier YouTuber covering Mr. Scheffler, which, by the way, no relation. He is a fellow Scottie. I'm Scottie O, he's Scottie Scheffler, but that had no bearing. That had no bearing on this at all. It was just purely, this is a terrible case. It was not in the interest of justice to pursue it. They tried to for a little bit, but they saw the light by the end and dropped it. So happy for that. Happy for Scottie. Happy for his family, his new baby. And I think he's even won a tournament since then, since this all happened. He didn't win this tournament. He made the cut. He did okay, but ended up not winning overall. But I think he's won another tournament since then. So good for him. Glad he wasn't able. Glad he didn't let this get him too down. And was, yeah, able to move on with life now. Now we bid farewell collectively on the Gen Z Attorney channel to the Scottie Scheffler case. I don't think we'll talk about it again, but hey, you never know. You never know what new spicy news can drop about it. But I think this is gonna be it. So as far as other stuff, you can tell I moved into my new house. I'm very excited about that. Don't know exactly how I want to decorate this room yet, but something. We'll think of something. Working on a new video covering the Donald Trump hush money trial. That he was convicted, all 34 counts, first former president to ever become a convicted felon. I have a lot to say about that case. So, but before I say anything, I mean, I made one video already giving my initial thoughts, but before I do my big deep dive, I want to make sure I have everything straight, every fact backed up, sourced, so I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants. I can actually back up what I'm saying. So definitely stay tuned for that. Very excited to put that out. I'm going to be gone for basically a week. Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow and won't be back for a week. So I'm not going to have much to say, much to do, much to post. But yeah, once I'm back, I will be back at it, back at the grind, putting out more content, more videos. So yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, if you want to get informed, understand high-profile cases fully, and actually understand the facts and the law, not just read headlines and get misinformed, then yeah, definitely I hope you consider subscribing, coming back and watching more videos. So would definitely appreciate a like on this one as we say goodbye to Mr. Scheffler, and yeah, drop a comment down below if just what you think about this case, what you think about this body cam. Would you be friends with this officer? Because I think I would be. And comment down below if you got any other cases you want me to talk about. I've got a few, definitely. I've got a list going that continues to grow at a rate faster than I can make videos on them. But hey, we'll see how things continue to go. But hey, here's to representing Gen Z in a way that shows that not all of us are brain-rotted TikTokers. Some of us try and be intellectually curious and serious and make interesting videos. So I've rambled long enough. That's all I've got for today. I will see you all back on the next one.